Listen up. Everyone's focused on our lead in the East, but they're looking at the wrong damn thing. There's a monster building in the American League that the front office is genuinely worried about. They have a counter move in mind, a big bat from the desert. If you want to know who they're targeting to save our season, hit subscribe now, because you're going to need this intel. Before we get into it, if you want to stay on top of every move, every rumor, and every real deal analysis about our squad, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I don't mess around, the info here is the straight dope. For those who really live and breathe Yankees, I want the news before anyone else. Now, let's get down to business, because things are heating up in the American League, and Brian Cashman has some make or break decisions ahead that could decide whether or not we're heading for World Series number 28. Here's the deal. It's June 10th, 2025, and despite a little two-game skid, we're still sitting on top of the AL East with a 39-25 record, a 4-game lead. Sounds comfy, right? Wrong. Anyone who really follows this game knows you don't win Jack in June. The Tampa Bay Rays are starting to get hot, and the Toronto Blue Jays with that beast of a lineup are always lurking. However, the real monster taking shape in front of us, the biggest threat to our title hopes, ain't even in our division. It's coming from Michigan, the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, you heard me. The Detroit Tigers have the best record in Major League Baseball right now at 43-24. They're young, they're hungry, and they're only going to get better as the season rolls on. They've got an ace who's dealing a solid bullpen and a lineup that, while not packed with superstars, is clutch as hell. This brings me directly to the piece I want to break down with you guys, something from ESPN.com by analyst Brad Doolittle, who ran a hypothetical playoff matchup between the Yanks and the Tigers. And the results, my friends, should be a massive wake-up call. Doolittle points out that while our squad has a higher base rating, which would give us a slight edge in every simulated ALCS game against them, that edge is razor thin, almost negligible, especially when you factor in they'd have home field advantage. The core of his argument, and this is where it gets real for our front office, is that to truly solidify our position and turn that tiny edge into clear favoritism, we need to make an impact move. And he put a name to that move. Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I know. Some of y'all are probably making a face right now. But let's analyze this with the depth the situation demands. Third base has been a black hole in our infield all damn season in 2025. We've tried everything over there. DJ LeMahieu has been grinding, showing that classic versatility, but he ain't the long-term answer at the hot corner. The offensive production from third base has been, to put it nicely, anemic, and that's where Suarez's name enters the equation. He's 33, no spring chicken, but the power is still very, very real. Right now, Suarez has already racked up 18 home runs and 48 RBIs. 48. That's more than anyone on our team not named Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton. Just imagine adding that kind of pop to the bottom of our lineup. It would be a nightmare for opposing pitchers. There'd be no easy outs. From 1 to 9, it would be a parade of power threats. A lineup with Judge, Soto, Stanton, and Suarez would be without a doubt the most feared in the league. However, and this is my analytical side talking, the side that has to be objective, getting Suarez isn't a magic bullet. He comes with some serious red flags. His on-base percentage is a measly .303. That ain't exactly the Yankee way, for a team that has historically valued guys who clog up the base paths. We have sluggers, but our success has always been built on creating traffic and cashing in. Suarez is an all-or-nothing guy. It's a dinger or a K, he'd lead our team in strikeouts, no question. The question Brian Cashman has to answer is, does our offense need another guy with that profile, especially when we're expecting Giancarlo Stanton, who already fills that role of a high-power, low OBP slugger, to return? On top of that, and maybe just as important, Suarez's defense at third is our best average. He doesn't have the range he once did, and he'll boot his fair share of balls. We could be trading an offensive problem for a defensive one, which can be a killer in the playoffs where every single batted ball matters. And what would be the price? The D-backs ain't competing this year. They're in rebuild mode. They're gonna want prospects. And we know how Cashman loves to hoard our top young talent. Would we have to give up 1 or 2 of our top 10 prospects? Maybe a young arm with high upside. It's a high-stakes gamble. Now, let's explore another route, an idea floated by another outlet, Ballcap Sports, from analyst Jim Riley. He points to a target within our own division, which makes things even trickier and more fascinating. Brandon Lowe from the Tampa Bay Rays. Lowe is an all-star second baseman, a lefty bat with pop and a much better ability to get on base than Suarez. He could be the answer at second, letting LeMahieu focus on third or even play third himself if needed. Lowe offers a versatility that Suarez just doesn't have. He's a more complete player, a better defender, and would fit the traditional Yankee mold more closely. His approach at the plate is more patient. He sees more pitches, which would lengthen our lineup in a different, more strategic way. The problem? Trading with the Tampa Bay Rays is like trying to pull a tooth from a shark. They're our direct rivals. They would never ever give us a player of Lowe's caliber without demanding a king's ransom. We'd be talking multiple top-tier prospects, maybe even a young, established player from our big league roster. It'd be a move that would significantly weaken our farm system, but could give us the exact piece we're missing in the starting puzzle. So we're stuck in this strategic dilemma. On one hand, you have the raw, immediate power of Eugenio Suarez, a simpler move to pull off in terms of a trade, but with clear risks in his profile and defense. On the other, the more complete and versatile solution in Brandon Lowe, a player who seems tailor-made for Yankee Stadium, but would cost a fortune in assets and would be strengthening a rival while simultaneously weakening our future. And we can't forget the pitching. Our bullpen has been heroic, but they're gassed. Our starters outside of Garrett Cole have been up and down. Shouldn't the priority be adding a reliable arm for the pen or even a mid-rotation starter? Every prospect we use to get a bat is a prospect we can't use to chase an arm. The trade deadline is creeping up, and the next few weeks are going to define our season. The front office has to be aggressive, but they also have to be smart. The pressure is squarely on Brian Cashman. This team right now is good. It's a title contender. But to beat the Tigers in October, to get past teams like the Astros, we need more. We can't just stand pat and hope things work themselves out. The time to make a move is now. My final take on the main story is this. The Eugenio Suarez suggestion is tempting because of the sheer power he'd bring. But his profile, with a low OBP and questionable glove, gives me pause. I believe the team would benefit more from a player with the versatility and on-base skills of Brandon Lowe, even if the cost is higher. However, the reality is that the most urgent need might just be on the mound. An elite bullpen arm could be the difference between a win and a loss in a short playoff series. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think the Yankees should do? Should we go all in on the power of Eugenio Suarez to try and outslug the Tigers? Or should we pay the steep price for Brandon Lowe, a more complete player from a division rival? Or should the top priority be landing a top-tier pitcher and making do with the offense we have? Drop your comments below. I want to read every single opinion. Let's debate, let's argue, because this is a space for the fan who thinks the game. And don't forget, for more breakdowns like this, breaking news on everything about our New York Yankees, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. You're not gonna want to miss what's coming.